guys, it's Cece. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna let you guys know what are the top 10 ways to get mystical scrolls in Summoner's War. And now is the perfect time as there is a new collab that's just arrived in the game. One of the first things that you're gonna want to do is make sure that you check your Trial of Ascension. And when I say check that you have your Trial of Ascension, see how high you can actually get. More so with new players, I feel like they kind of get overwhelmed and be like, oh, I can't do it, not gonna bother. No, definitely at least try, get as high as you can. If you can complete it, remember to complete it every month. It is worth it to get the scrolls. You see it in the rewards. You get yourself mystical scrolls along with some other ones. Whether it's normal or hard difficulty, get as high as you can, complete as much as you can to collect the scrolls. I have made a video that included what monsters you want to build for TOA hard in case you're kind of struggling and you're maybe having a harder time climbing up there. You're not sure who to build. How do you get there? What do you need? I have made a video on that, so check that out if you're struggling. But yeah, number one is definitely do your Trial of Ascension. But when I said check it, I also mean check the Challenge of Ascension. So in case this is something you have not started yet, definitely take a look at it. Just by completing it, you're going to get some rewards. So right off the bat, you'll see on this one, I can get some fire scrolls here. There's the Tower of Fire, of Water, of Wind, of Light, of Dark, all of it. So you're going to have different rewards that you can get in here. But not only that, there's also the ranking. So in the ranking, just by somebody else having conquered it first, it's going to give you a mystical scroll. So you'll see scrolling down through here, I have a mystical scroll I can collect here. And if you haven't collected any of them, go through, click on them, and make sure you are collecting these free mystical scrolls that you might have just sitting there. Next up is going to be actually doing some of the things that you say you're going to do or you think you're going to do, but maybe you overlook them. For example, these slime boss. So with the monster that they've put out, this slime boss and everything, there's the mini waves and the boss himself. They have extended the time because they noticed that not everyone was able to hit it within that specific window. They've extended it now. It does make it a little easier. Try to remember to do your 3 waves. So the fire, the wind, and the water. And then of course the slime boss itself, because you will have a chance at getting mystical scrolls along with some other goodies out of here. The next one is going to be World Boss. I have seen people say this where they either don't bother with World Boss and they're like, it's not worth it because for how many years it was the same. World Boss just was World Boss. It's rare we got anything from it. They have significantly improved it where I find like once a day I'm doing it, I'm either getting a scroll from it or getting pieces that can go towards a scroll. As long as you're hitting it like 3 times. And then if you are able to get that triple S, even on a double S though, I've gotten scrolls before. So it may seem like something so small to be like, oh, it's just World Boss, whatever. But actually hitting it is going to be able to potentially get you some more scrolls in your pocket. Next up, of course, is going to be to farm. Yes, that's right. Farming, farming, farming. That is what we do in this game all day long. Hit that repeat battle. Pick one of the Kairos dungeons, whichever one that you can comfortably have your team do, and have them actually be able to make it through so you can do the times 30. Because yes, we do have times 30, which most of you are aware of it. In case you're not, they've added the repeat battle times 30. So go ahead, hit that, minimize it, and forget about it. Go do something else. That's a good time to go do your TOA. Do your TOA. Do your other dailies that you need to do. Any of that. But do Kairos Dungeon since we have to farm anyway. But it is a great way to get drops. They've significantly improved the drops as well for that. So whether you're able to get a mystical scroll here or there. So I'm running my times 30. I can go ahead, hit battle, go to my TOA and make sure I finish it since I only have 15 days left. Hit autoplay, and now I am simultaneously running my Kairos dungeon, getting some scrolls, doing some TOA, and getting those scrolls. You may have heard me say it in the last one, but yes, do your dailies. This is also something that I think for the most part people do, but at the same time you might overlook it. Do your daily missions because you're gonna get pieces that go towards your transcendence, and once you get 100, you get a free Nat5. So it might seem tedious to kind of do some of the daily things every day, but when you actually break it down and look at it, it's probably things you're going to need to do anyway. You're going to do some arenas, so do that. Maybe click in here and see, what do I actually need to farm in Kairos? Oh, giant, I need to go there. So let's say right now I'm farming dragons, but I want to go ahead and farm giants. So I'm going to make sure I at least do my runs for that. And then things like gifting, the summoning, all of that. It's really easy. It's really quick. And don't overlook this. You get your 2 transcendence pieces. You do also get the LD pieces in there. And then you may potentially get a usable rune. I say potentially because sometimes it's not. But I've gotten a rune or 2 that I can actually use out of here. So it seems really simple. It seems like something that you might not want to do because you're like, oh, it's too tedious. I don't want to focus on it, but it's worth it. Do your daily missions. And arguably one of the easier ways that you can do it, in the sense that if you want mystical scrolls and you have crystals, you can get mystical scrolls. They go hand in hand, and that's because down in the shop, you're going to have the premium pack you could go ahead and buy. So 750 crystals is going to get you those 11 mystical scrolls. It'll get you some mana, and it'll give you some angel mon. So if you are like swimming in crystals and you really want scrolls, really want to be able to summon and hopefully increase your chance of getting certain Nat5s, or if there's a collab going on and you really want a Nat5 and you have the crystals, you can always go ahead and buy premium pack 1. There is also premium pack 2. That one is going to be for like your LD scrolls and your elementals. This is always a way that you can do it. Now, I do typically say there's different ways that you should use your crystals. There's better ways to use your crystals, arguably. But if you are like dying for mystical scrolls and you just want as many as you can, maybe you want to just do mass summon session, you want to rage summon, you can always go ahead and buy the premium packs. But maybe you don't want to use 750 crystals on premium packs. Something else that you can actually do is to shop refresh. I feel like I know that kind of like sounds crazy, but a refresh is 3 crystals. And in your refresh, you can actually get pretty lucky in here. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll do some refreshing. If you want the unknown scrolls, you can go ahead and get things like unknown scrolls. If you're looking for any specific like monsters, maybe you need like a 2-star for something, you can grab it from there. Sometimes you may come across a good rune, maybe a 6-star rune, maybe something that will actually upgrade and be good. You can also get things like your LD pieces, your legendary pieces, mystical scrolls as well. So typically like that right there, mystical scroll, and I only had to refresh it a few times. So depending if you want to spend some crystals, maybe there's certain events where it says spend X amount of crystals. It'll give you something in return. This is a good way to do it if you don't want to go ahead and just straight up spend 750. You can go ahead, hit refresh, and you'll see from time to time, things like a mystical scroll will pop up. Maybe other pieces like LD pieces will pop up. You're going to grab those as well. Or like the engraved summon pieces. So you can always go ahead and do some shop refreshing in the hopes of getting something good. We have come a long way in this game with what to do with dupes. So back before, there wasn't really anything you could do apart from if you wanted to feed it for a skill up, which always hurts when you do that with the Nat5, which you don't really do anymore. Or it was kind of hanging on to a dupe, maybe building a dupe, but then they introduced ancient crystals, and that changed everything. I think most people do use these specifically on like getting a blessing. Maybe you're somebody that gets LD scrolls. Maybe you pay attention to the grinds and the gems or the runes and you get one of those with it. But something that you might overlook is actually the mystical scrolls. If you get a dupe and you feed it for ancient crystals, by only using 45 of them, you can actually get 10 mystical scrolls back. And I have a guildie that's done this, so for them it worked, and they actually managed to fill up their entire decks with the normal elements, because any time that they would get mystical scrolls, they were summoning them, they would get a dupe, feed it for ancient crystals, and then go ahead and feed that to get more mystical scrolls. So for 10 mystical scrolls, they're spending 45 of the ancient crystals, and when you feed a dupe, you're getting a good amount. So they would just cycle through every dupe that they got. They would go ahead and feed it, especially during the time where they have the bonus mystical scroll event. So you're getting 10 scrolls for every 100 that you're doing. That was a good time to do it because you're actually getting some of those scrolls back, and they kind of just cycled it through. They tried it, they tested it, and it did work for them. So if you're somebody that's really hunting for mystical scrolls, especially during a time with the refund, that is one way that you can use your ancient crystals. And of course, we cannot forget about all the events that are constantly going on in Summoners War. They will always have something going on with an event, and sometimes it may be multiple that you even forget or you overlook it, but now is a good time as any to actually try to farm mystical scrolls, come back into the game and play. And part of that is because they are going to have their shop event where you're going to be able to exchange things, and like the cursed crystals that are dropping, you can exchange that and actually get scrolls back. But one of the really cool things is that they're going to have a shop open where you are going to be able to get yourself 100 mystical scrolls. So just by doing your things like farming, like we talked about earlier, spending crystals, which we also talked about earlier. So whether you're using crystals, obtaining crystals, the content drop is going to get you these cursed crystals, and you'll be able to exchange them and get yourself 100 mystical scrolls. Now you're going to combine that with the event that's going on with the bonus mystical scroll event. So every time you're using 10, you're getting 1. So giving even more scrolls back in your pocket. So make sure that you're always checking events, clicking through them, paying attention to when they expire. If there's things that you need to do daily, because sometimes they are going to have things like the daily mission point event. So going through, seeing what have I missed today, what have I not done today, what do I need to do to get more scrolls in my pocket. And as I mentioned, when there is an event like this where you can actually go ahead and get 100 mystical scrolls and combine it with the other one and get bonus, always check your events. And of course, who doesn't love freebies? Summoners War actually does have the monthly code that they give out, but there are other ones that they do throughout the month as well. Whether there's events going on or like a collab or something, they will have different codes. And if you are playing on Android or Steam, all you have to do is go ahead, click events, and then scroll down. You'll see enter your promo code here. So that's gonna pop up, and then go ahead and paste or write down whatever the promo code is at the time. Hit enter, and then it's gonna let you know your coupon has been redeemed. Go ahead and go back to your inbox, and there you go. You'll see that just from the collab that's going on right now, the coupon code did get some energy, got some mana, as well as some mystical scrolls. You can also do this on iOS, but it is different. It's actually a link that you need to use. So I am gonna leave that like down in the comments so you can see it, but it is the withhive.me/313/coupon code. So you can still do it on iOS. It's just that you have to go ahead and paste it into the Internet Explorer, and then it will open up Summoners War on your phone. And then same thing, you'll just see it in your inbox. But you are going to want to check back and make sure that you're not missing out on any of these coupon codes, because it is a great way to get some freebies in the game. That is it for today's video and some of those methods that you can use to get yourself more mystical scrolls in the game. Leave a comment down below and let me know what is your go-to method on getting some of these scrolls. I wish you guys luck on your summons, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Next level.